Yo, today we got Larry Bird most savage moments.
A part of the reason why Larry Bird was called legend was his brilliance as a basketball player, and the other part were his
Oh,
legendary and vicious trash talking skills. Bird was a killer on the court. He had a foul mouth, and he wasn't afraid of anybody. This
oh, is that him and Dr. J? Oh,
Bird was a killer on the court. He had a foul mouth, and he wasn't afraid of anybody. This explosive combination gave birth to some of the most ruthless trash talking stories in NBA history. So here are the 10 best
mm.
Larry Bird savage moments.
Let me know, cause I know nothing about Bird like that for real.
Contest. The three-point shot in the NBA was first introduced in the 1979 NBA season, Larry's rookie year. 7 years later, at the 1986 All-Star Weekend in Dallas, the NBA brought the first official three-point shooting contest to the scene. Larry won it, and repeated next year at the All-Star Game in Seattle. In 1988, he was going for a three-peat in Chicago.
So Larry was like, I can't say Larry was Curry before Curry, cause we had Ray Allen. Ray Allen was the best shooter before Curry, to me.
Before the start of the contest, Bird entered the locker room, did not speak a word to the other competitors, and just took a good look at them. He finally said, "I'm just looking which one of you is going to come in second." The room was filled
Ooh,
with silence, because they all knew what
that's how Bird was coming.
was. Of course, Larry would go on to win again, proving that he's the best shooter in the world. He won without
Mm.
taking off his tracksuit, famously raising his hand while the contest clinching three
I watched a clip of this. I gotta rewatch this.
was still in the air. Response to Craig Hodges. Craig Hodges
Craig
was one of the
Hodges.
best shooters in the 80s, and he competed in the three-point shooting contest
Craig
with Larry
Hodges.
each time Bird was participating. Larry won
Mike played in the three-point
in the
contest? What? That's Mike.
three times, and Craig finished second twice. When Hodges finally took home the title of the best three-point shooter at the All-Star Weekend in 1989, reporters asked him if the main reason for his victory was Bird's injury and non-participation. Craig said,
Mm.
"Larry knows where he can find me," and Bird replied, "I know where, at the end of the Chicago Bulls bench, the left-handed game." Larry Bird was in the prime of his basketball brilliance in the 85-86 season when he led the Celtics to the title. They lost only one game at home throughout the season.
What? Lost one home. So that mean they was like 10-1 at home. Or no, wait. What? Hold on.
When he led the Celtics to the title, they lost only one game at home throughout the season.
Oh, hell no. One? You telling me they went like 42? Oh no, that's that's probably the most insane stat I ever heard from a team. Bruh, it's 82 games in a season. Let's say they do 41 home, 41 in away. You telling me they went 40-1? We might have to watch some more Larry Bird, y'all.
And the playoffs, setting an NBA record with 50-1. The Portland
What?
Trailblazers were the only team to defeat the Celtics at home in December, so they were a good bet to win in front of their crowd in February. Before the game, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot all his shots with his left hand, except long jumpers. This was the last game of a long road trip, and Larry would always find new motivations and challenges to get through the monotonous grind of the regular season. In the game against Portland, he'd go on to have one of the most memorable games of his career. He hit a shot to send the game to overtime, and then hit a game winner in the OT. Bird finished the game with 47 points,
Ugh.
14 rebounds, and 11 assists. He scored 22 points with his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun, which
What?
tells you how He scored 22 points with his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun, which tells you how insanely good and confident this guy was. White guys guarding him. Larry is not white. Larry is clear, said Bill Murray in Space Jam, while explaining Bird's ethnicity to Michael Jordan. Larry Bird had skills for days. He was thinking the
I ain't gonna lie, Larry Bird is one of the coldest white boys ever. Well, Luka's a cold white boy, but he ain't Larry Bird right now. Jokic's a bad white boy too, but he not Larry Bird right now.
game 3 moves in advance. His jump shot was money. He
And I think he mean like pure white American, not like from different countries.
was nimble at 6'9", but he wasn't by any means an athletic player. Bird suffered from WMCJ syndrome, which
What's
stands
that?
for white men can't jump.
Oh
He was
yeah,
aware of it.
I know
On one
that.
occasion, He called basketball a black man's game due to the natural ability and athleticism of African American players. Because of that, he hated when the opposing teams would defend him with another white guy. Bird said that it was disrespectful to his greatness because he was dropping 30 and 40 on the most athletic players in the league. So if you put an unathletic white guy on him, that's barbecue chicken right there.
I get
in the
that,
trainer's
yeah.
lap. The highest scoring game in Larry Bird's career came in the 1986 season, in a game against Dominique Wilkins in the Atlanta Hawks. At the beginning of the first quarter, it was obvious that Larry is in the zone. He'd hit everything he threw to the basket, with the announcers repeatedly saying they were watching the greatest shooting exhibition in basketball history. Bird scored 60 on 61% shooting and 15 of 16 on free throws, hitting ridiculous shots over several players. During the game, he suddenly said, "in the trainer's lap," to Hawks players, which meant he would try to make a three from the corner near the opposing bench. He got the ball, made the shot, and one Hawks player who tried to guard him tripped over and fell exactly into the trainer's lap, just like Bird predicted. The Hawks bench was so amazed that they were laughing and high-fiving each other, totally perplexed by Bird's brilliance.
Oh, that's glazing. Going for the other team.
They were fined by their coach Mike Fratello for cheering on the opposing player, tormenting Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was one of the best defenders in NBA history, with quick feet, long arms, and a motor that never shut down. He was a pest, an annoying pest who never stopped guarding, provoking,
He was
getting
a
into
pest.
everybody's face, and he used to be a nightmare for scorers around the NBA. However, when he was just starting out, he needed to get some schooling from Bird. After Larry scored 4 consecutive shots over Rodman, he opened his mean mouth and started destroying Rodman. Bird started yelling at Rodman's coach, Chuck Daly. "Who's guarding me, Chuck? Is anyone guarding me? You better get someone on me or I'm gonna go for 60. Even though Rodman was almost
You know how confident somebody got to be trash talking while they playing? I know that's normal, but still, you gotta have some sort of confidence with that trash talking, cause you gotta think about it. You hooping, and it's like being at work and having small talk, basically. You gotta have some sort of skill. So
superglued to him in an effort to deny him the ball. Bird was
Oh yeah, y'all saw that nonstop Larry Bird.
at his sarcastic best. "I'm open.
Yeah,
Hurry up before they notice
nonstop be having some bad vids, but he have some good ones too.
me." Larry Bird loved to play against the Indiana Pacers, where he was always greeted as a king. It was where the hick from French Lick grew up, made his first basketball steps, and took Indiana State University to the 1979 NCAA Finals. And the game Boston played against the Pacers played on December 26, 1990, will forever be etched in memory of the Pacers shooting guard, Chuck Rifleman Person. Before the game, Person said to the reporters, "Rifleman is in the building. I'm going bird hunting today." At the tip-off, said to the reporters, "Rifleman is in the building. I'm going bird hunting today."
That's a tough quote.
At the tip-off, Bird replied to Person that he has a Christmas present waiting for him. While Chuck sat on a bench during the game, Bird received the ball in the corner and shot a three-pointer. As the ball was flying towards the basket, Bird turned to Person and said, "Merry effing Christmas." The ball, of course, came in without touching the rim.
He did a Curry.
Bench. The best teams in the NBA often coast through the regular season and can lose their edge and focus when playing against mediocre opponents. In one game against the Phoenix Suns, the Celtics lost a double-digit lead and were trailing by 2 in the final seconds. The Celtics had the possession, and they could tie the game and go to overtime, or win it with a 3. Larry knew his Celtics shouldn't be losing a game to the Suns, and he wanted to play no overtime. So he went to the Suns bench and told all the players and coaches what was about to happen. "Yeah, I'm going to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home."
Oh man, this boy, he might talk more trash than Mike. No, I don't think nobody talk more trash than Mike. But man, I don't know this dude.
Prior to this, unsurprisingly, he lived up to his word. As the ball was still in the air, he turned towards the Phoenix bench and yelled, "Told you so," as the ball was going through the net, calling his shot against Xavier McDaniel. Xavier McDaniel was one of the most notorious NBA players in the 80s. And on the court, he liked to get physical, like Olivia Newton-John. When he was playing for the Sonics and the Knicks, nobody was really messing with X-Man. However, Bird was not afraid of a scuffle, and there are multiple stories of Larry participating in bar fights during his NBA career. In a crowded Supersonics arena, Boston and Seattle played a close game tied just 10 seconds before the end. At that point, Celtics coach Casey Jones called a timeout, and Bird confidently told him to just give him the ball and that the others move the hell out of the way. On his way back to the floor, Larry said, "That's exactly where I'll get the ball, and I'll score the game winner in your face." While
Dang.
X-Man replied, "I know you will get it there. I'm waiting for you." Bird received the ball right where he said he would, and
Nah, that's savage. And X-Men knew that Bird had a chance of making this.
replied, "I know you will get it there. I'm waiting for you."
Think about it. I'm waiting for you. He ain't say I know you will get it there. You ain't gonna make it. I'm waiting for you.
Bird received the ball right where he said he would and made a tough fadeaway shot. After Bird realized there were still 2 seconds left, he told McDaniel, "Damn, I didn't want to leave 2 seconds on the clock," while X-Man walked back to the Sonics bench in disbelief, tormenting a young Clyde Drexler. Before Clyde Drexler came into the NBA, he was one of the best players. Clyde Drexler. Before Clyde Drexler came into the NBA, he was one of the best players in college basketball, forming the famous Phi Slamma Jamma with Hakeem Olajuwon at the University of Houston. Drexler was selected by the Blazers with the with Hakeem Olajuwon at the University of Houston.
They played with each other in college? Wow.
Drexler was selected by the Blazers with the 14th pick in the 1983 NBA draft. And even as a rookie, he was already one of the most athletic guys at his position. However, Bird wasn't impressed. When Drexler subbed in the game against the Celtics, he started guarding Bird. Larry smiled at him and mockingly said, "You can't stop me. You're a rookie. You don't know anything." He would proceed to hit jump shot after jump shot over Drexler before the Blazers coach had mercy on him and subbed him out, while Bird was laughing at Clyde on the way to the bench.
I gotta find out how good Larry Bird actually was now.